Well, as you may be aware by now that the government of the Republic of Zambia, through the Attorney General of Zambia, has won the court case with regard to the body of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu to be repatriated to Zambia or be buried in South Africa. So there was a court battle between the Edgar Chagwa Lungu's family and the Zambian government through the Attorney General and the South African lawyers to have the body repatriated to Zambia. So that court case, as of this afternoon, has been won by the Zambian government, and obviously more details has emerged. I told you earlier on in the afternoon to say I'll give you details by the end of the day, and the more details has emerged since then. So the Zambian government won the court case, and then they were given permission to go and present to the morticians or the people that were holding Edgar Chagwa Lungu's body to release it to the Zambian government. But since then, more details has emerged. So that what you see on screen there, that was the interaction between Given Luwinda and Makebi Zulu earlier on in court as the judgment was being delivered. So probably one of those times. And obviously the Attorney General is being regarded as the most valuable player there. Attorney General Simon Mwewa, or Shitambala Mwewa, put up that picture of the Attorney General simply celebrating that he represented the Zambian government very well. And he picked the right lawyers. If you remember, this court case, once Edgar Chagwa Lungu's family lawyer, the ones that they had in South Africa, started presenting his court case, people could make their predictions to see where it was going, because he did fumble a lot. Like he was arguing as if he was on the side of the government, pretty much reiterating the points that they were raised by the Zambian government's lawyers. So people are like, what sort of lawyer is this that was representing the family? So people are celebrating the Attorney General to say he picked the right lawyers in South Africa, and they argued the case for the Zambian government very well, which led to them winning the court case earlier on this afternoon. So you can see the celebration with regard to Attorney General from that. And obviously, Chief Etayari weighed in to say that Patrick Angal, that's the secretary to the cabinet, I hope you are busy with the program. But slow, which is why we had to go this far. Partly you are to blame. Be decisive and cynical. So simply saying that, hey, this was posted earlier on once the verdict was given. People are like, hey, there's a possibility that the family might appeal this court case. So once the Zambian government was given permission to access Edgar Chagwa Lungu's body, they probably should have gone to the morgue and access his body, and the jet should have been provided so that the body can be moved back to Zambia. But since then, obviously, that's not how the law works out in South Africa. A new development came out, as you know, I'll show you as the time goes by. But people are like, hey, if this body, let it be moved to Zambia, and then all the protocols can be observed once it lands in the country, unlike arguing in South Africa. But the body was not handed to the Zambian government. And obviously there was a section of society that was celebrating once the news came out. Just stand by, these are some of the celebrations. So according to Emmanuel Mwamba, this is the Mbala Member of Parliament, Njagwa Sumutwe, and Bikilon, the comedian who is part of the comedy duo, that's Bikilon and Difficult. And the United Party for National Development celebrating the win in the court case by the Attorney General in South Africa to repatriate the body of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. So this was a celebration for them, and then according to Emmanuel Mwamba, it's those are the people involved in this video. So stand by. This is what happened.
The body is coming, we are burying here. It's when you have a government that is loved by the people. That is what happens. We are burying here. Panene pali wanzake paja, akagone pali wanzake paja. Judgment mweka ntotazana. We don't you. Eno ale pepa president, ale pepa kele sawa kwe. Mulera ndaja mumuto ni mieno, ale pepa kele sawa kwe. Andi mulela pila. Mulenyo le sali mute mwa eche.
When they are talking, we are moving forward.
The 60th president will be buried at Embassy Park.
Yes.
Agone party. Pari wanza. Ubuteko. Boss. Church just be talking on behalf of us. We employed President Church to speak for us. That is what he has been doing. So we need any he ruled us for 7 years. Our voice is louder than
So those are the celebrations that were coming from those people named earlier on when the verdict was passed to say the Zambian government has won and the body has been given to the Zambian government. But that was just a court verdict, not necessarily that they had gone to the morgue and accessed the body. And so that's what played out in court. And obviously more people are weighing in. Chief Etayari weighed in. He was like, please, Esther Lungu, don't take a hard stance after this. Be a mother and soften your heart. Just come back home with the body. President Hichilema and his government will not harm you. The nation will be watching. Don't listen to Makebi Zulu. And he was simply saying, hey, this was earlier on in the afternoon where people were like, hey, they don't appeal, because it was eminent. It was quite clear to say that's the direction that the family was more inclined to. And then, and obviously, before you knew it, within the same hour, the appeal was submitted. The lawyers submitted an appeal, and it was granted. So the Lungu family appealed that judgment, which put a stay on the possibility of the Zambian government accessing that body. And obviously, people were another reaction. Part of the highlights from court was the reaction of Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's sister, the immediate elder sister to the late President Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. The way she reacted after the verdict was passed, like, she said a lot of colorful statements in court. I'll play you the video so that you have a listen to what she said. But people are like, hey, just reacting to the way someone was trying to cover her mouth to stop her from uttering the statements that she was uttering, and obviously that was stopped. So according to Kashana, she was like, the truest friend is one who keeps you from becoming your own worst enemy, because she put out a lot of colorful statements. I think the only reason she was lucky was that she was using Bemba. Had she been using English, where the judges were able to understand what she was saying, I think it would have played out in a different format. Yes, in as much as the South African government wouldn't have wanted to have the older sister of the late president arrested, but had the judges understood what she was saying, it would definitely not have played out well, because she said a lot. Just stand by so that you listen to what the immediate elder sister to the late president Edgar Chagwa-Lungu said in court after the verdict was said. The family had lost a court case and it was going towards the Zambian government, and the body was likely to be handed over. And this is what Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's elder sister said in court. So that was Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's sister simply saying, there were only the two of them left in amongst the siblings. And so that's what she was being prevented from saying. And then when she saw the Attorney General of Zambia, Mr. Kabesha, she yelled another bunch of things that, I will show you as the broadcast goes on. So that's what people were simply saying. The lady behind her was doing a job being like a truest friend, trying to protect her from uttering those statements, because had she been understood by the South African judges, they probably would have had her arrested. Tambara Mwewa goes further to say, nobody wants to touch Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's body. We just want to bury him where political giants are laid, to rest Chapwa. So he's simply saying this all format of trying to accuse like the President Hakainde Hichilema is trying to get involved with the body or whatever she was speaking in there. That's not a real game here. The Zambian government simply wants to respect the former head of state, Edgar Shagalungu, and bury him at Embassy Park, just like the other former heads of state that have been buried there. So that's the argument coming from Chitambala Moyo. And then obviously Laura Miti weighs in to say Mwewa Bemba, referring to the Bembas, because there's that tribal cousinship between the Bembas and the people from the East, simply saying, in as much as Edgar Shagalungu was from the East and the sister is also from the East, when she decided to utter those colorful statements in court, she decided to use Bemba. So she was like, this is Laura Miti saying, Mwewa Bemba, have you seen that when we the well-behaved culture is solid Easterners want to Tukana in that manner, we embarrass, we don't embarrass ourselves, but our ancestors, we use your language. So simply saying, we cannot even use Nyanja when it's time to utter insults of that nature. We go into Bemba, like it's easier to insult in Bembas. Some tribal cousinship there from Laura Miti, pretty much, and people are just having a few deal with that statement. And then according to Chief Eteari, he says, Makebi Zulu has a huge influence on the family. Awe Makebi so simply say, we can't go on like this. By Esther Lungu, we will not be harmed. Let her just come home. She is a strong woman, don't advise the family to continue fighting. Let this go. So this is where Chief Eteari compromises himself. I think just yesterday, or if not the day before, you're simply saying Esther Lungu is the one that is in charge and she's the one who controls Makebi Zulu. Now he's shifted. He's simply saying Makebi Zulu is the one that's influencing Esther Lungu. But people are reacting to say the real person that seems to be adamant on this statement seems like it's the older sister to the former head of state, and that is the lady that you saw uttering those statements. And Makebi Zulu is simply a family spokesperson, simply communicating the wishes of the family. And obviously, Dingindaba, Jonah, simply weighed in to say, when we say the family, it is really her being talked about. And then he laughs it off to say, now it has become evident to say, when we are saying, no, the family has spoken, it's really the elder sister, the immediate elder sister that speaks. Because now the way she presented herself in court, now everyone was able to see, to say, hey, Makebi Zulu really was just simply communicating. And then this statement, according to Jonah, this is the Diamond TV journalist, he had put it out on 12th June 2025. And then he simply shared to say, this was difficult to explain 2 months ago. He simply says, when I tried to explain to you, to say, like, the person that seems to be very adamant and strong is the elder sister to Edgar Shagalungu. People could not have understood, because at the time, it was always Makebi Zulu that was appearing and issuing statements. He could clarify to say, I'm simply communicating the wishes of the family. And now it has become apparently clear to say, the authority really, like a person that's making serious decisions, is the elder sister to the late president, because now she's speaking in as much as she's using Bemba, which a good number of people are understanding. Yes, the Africans may not understand it, but the rest of the nation seems to be understanding what she's saying. And obviously, people are just having that back and forth to say, now it has become apparently clear that she is the family, really, in that sense. So this was later on when she was dragged out of court. That's Edgar Shagalungu's elder sister, when she was dragged out of court. So according to Smart Eagles, they say the late President Edgar Shagalungu's immediate elder sister, Betha Lungu, are wearing, she leaves Pretoria court shortly after the court ordered the body of her younger brother, late President of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Shagalungu, to be handed over to the government of the Republic of Zambia. So that was her being dragged out of court when she left. But I would like to play you another video where she was making those statements before she was dragged outside by the people around her, just to safeguard her. And then obviously Chitambala Moyo was like, Tasila Lungu and Esther were well composed and dignified. So simply reacting to say, like, as opposed to how the sister behaved or carried herself in court, the former First Lady was well dignified and represented Zambia very well in that sense, in as much as they did not like the outcome of the court. They really respected the decision. But So that was being taken out of court, and then you could hear those statements that she was making whilst in court. But yeah, that's how it played out. And then no sooner than the judgment was delivered, an appeal was submitted. So within the same hour, I doubt even the lawyer, if the lawyers even left court. So before even the body could be transferred to the Zambian government, the lawyers from the Lungu family filed an appeal. So according to Emmanuel Mwamba, he says Edgar Chagalungu's body cannot be accessed or moved following a successful filing of an appeal. So they submitted an appeal whilst they were still in court, pretty much halting the transfer of the body from the Lungu family or from the morgue to the Zambian government. So pretty much the body hasn't been handed over. That's a shorthand of that communication. And then the UPND responded immediately. They put up a post within the same hour. Says, being granted leave to appeal does not stop the earlier decision of the court to be executed. The remains can still be repatriated as ordered by the Gauteng High Court unless a stay of execution is granted. So the argument the UPND were pretty much putting across was that, okay, fine, yes, just because they filed in, a stay has not been granted to prevent the earlier decision of the transfer of the body. And obviously people are weighing in on different sides of the aisle. Mao Sampa, material member of parliament, was one of the people that weighed in. He was in court also in South Africa earlier on today. It says the widow has appealed, stating judgment is wrong, both on law and facts. It means the body won't move anywhere until appeal cases is heard and concluded. Your trophy to those celebrating, not coming home just yet. I feel the widow, sister and children. I feel for the widow or the sister and the children. Simply saying, hey, so that body is not going anywhere. And then Chitambala, we were waiting. Was this church, which is this back and forth, will not help Makebi. We know the money the Lungus are paying him is sweet, but Makebi should have some level of integrity. Tell your clients the truth. That appeal will be thrown out because it has no merit. That's Shambhala Mwewa's view. Simply says, okay, fine. Yes, they've appealed, but really that court case is not going anywhere. That's his point of view, personal view. And then Emmanuel Mwamba responded to some facts. So he put up some facts. If you remember, Emmanuel Mwamba was Zambia's ambassador to South Africa at some point during Edgar Chagalungu's tenure of office. So he put up these facts according to South African law. So question, a few facts. The South African court follows both physical and electronic filing using the platform called online, which allows the filing of Electronic Communication and Transactions Act of 2002. Remember, the Attorney General of the Republic of Zambia filed his court process on the night before the burial. So simply stating to say, okay, fine, the way it works in Zambia is not the way it works in South Africa. In South Africa, once an appeal is filed in, which simply means it halts automatically the decision of what the court had made on. In Zambia, a stay is supposed to be obtained. That's different. And then it goes further. Is a notice of appeal, that's still Emmanuel Wamba, is a notice of appeal a stay, unlike in Zambia. In South Africa, a mere notice of appeal filed noted operates as a stay against the judgment or orders of the court. This is based on Section 18 of the Superior Court Act of 2013, which deals with the suspension of judgment and orders pending an appeal. So he says the way it works in Zambia, that's not the way it works in South Africa. So in South Africa, once a successful appeal has been filed, there is a stay. There is no decision. Nothing can be implemented in that case. So Section 18 of subsection 1 provides that unless the court, under exceptional circumstances, orders otherwise, the operation or execution of a decision which is subject to application or leave to appeal is suspended pending a decision for the application or appeal. South African jurisdiction, unlike Zambia, operates on the Roman, Dutch, English common law and customary laws. So it goes further to say, will the Zambian government move the body? He asks at the time. Unless they wish to break the law. In South Africa, the sheriff of the court will not sign enforcing order after learning of the appeal. So simply says, fine, if the government at the time wanted to go and get the body, the sheriff of the court could not have legally signed off the enforcing order that was required for them to take to the morgue where they wanted to go and get Edgar Chagalungu's body. So he simply says that wasn't possible. Pretty much, as of this broadcast, Edgar Chagalungu's body has not been brought back to Zambia, neither has it been submitted to Zambian government according to those updates. And then obviously there was a back and forth in the comment section. Someone responded, Joseph responded to Emmanuel Mamba, says, okay, yes, in South Africa, filing a notice of appeal or even electronically via the court online order of 2002 generally automatically stays a judgment under Section 18, subsection 1 of the Superior Courts Act, unless the court orders otherwise. But that stay only works within South African jurisdiction. If the remains are already inside Zambia, the High Court or the Vienna Convention makes those provisions irrevocable. Pretty much, the South Africa cannot do any jurisdiction. So it's simply putting out across the point to say, if the body at the time when they're having this conversation was already in Zambia, there's no way South Africa will do anything about it. But Emmanuel Wamba responded and said, we have no mortuary at the embassy or staff. So simply says there's no possibility that the Zambian government would have moved the body from the morgue to the Zambian embassy in South Africa because there's no morgue, unless they moved it direct from the morgue to an airport and transferred it to Zambia. But the duration was too fast and they couldn't do that. So as things stand, the same morgue that hosted the body is still hosting it until this time. So that was the conversation. Obviously, the appeal there still have been a conversation over it. According to Mao Sampa, she was doing a malumbo, not insulting. They grew up in Kuchiwe Mpara and the Enomo, expressing displeasure. Meanwhile, keep celebrating. He's coming home, implying a dead body is the football trophy. You have won. So you're simply saying that what Edgar Chagalungu's sister did in court were not insults, were simply praises, according to material member of parliament there, Mao Sampa. And then Shtambala was like, even the appeal will be thrown out. So simply says, okay, fine, yes, the family has successfully submitted that appeal, but they are losing that court case, according to him, obviously there. And then obviously where he doubles down on the same thing. And then this Saidi Piri weighs in, says, you are laughing at the tears and pain, at the tears of pain and sorrow. It doesn't matter to you because you are consumed by politics. You have chosen mockery over mercy. So simply saying the people that were laughing at the reaction of Edgar Chagalungu's sister in court or simply mocking her, according to that individual. Obviously, two sections of the society, you can see the difference of opinions. There's one side that is for, and those that are against, just as expected. And one person that also weighed in was Nevas Mumba. This is the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD president, and he weighed in on the statement. This is when just the Zambian government won the court case. So according to Nevas Mumba, it says, our statement on Edgar, on the essay, that's the African Edgar Chagwa repatriation court judgment. We share in the pain and deep grief of the Lungu family. We know that in the short term, the court decision may seem painful, but it will serve a noble goal in the long term as an aspiration to which we shall preserve the legacy of the former president. While this judgment in South African court, which is sought to uphold the dignity and protocol of the office of the president of Zambia, comes amidst much tension and emotion, the ruling has preserved the ideals and the ideals that govern us as a people, assuming that President Edgar Chagwa Lungu's legacy remains accessible to his family and the very ordinary Zambian who over whom he was presiding. This is the wider patriotic front family, and to the wider patriotic front family and the future generation to come. This decision also upholds the preservation of Zambia's presidential order and maintained at the embassy park without any interruption, and ensure that his final resting place will be in accordance with the established national customs and protocols. You're so simply saying, okay, fine, let's abide by that. And then it goes further to say, let us all come together and give President Edgar Chagwa Lungu the dignity and respect he deserves in his final moment. In this final moment, rest in peace, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. There, that's according to Nevas Mumba statement on the thing before the appeal was filed in. Obviously, that's what's in the other news. But anyway, generally, that's what happened in court, ladies and gentlemen. So the body is not coming back to Zambia as of today. It hasn't come back. This is now 21/16, and nothing has happened. And tomorrow is a weekend, so probably that appeal will be heard on Monday. No dates have been submitted yet. And that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. The battle rages on.